Hi, Patrick. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great. How you doing, Ranjeet?
Wonderful, wonderful. Nice to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. You have a good fourth?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. So we got a featured question today. You want me to hit you with that?
Absolutely. Let's
All
go.
right, great. As part of my job, I evaluated various projects to decide which ones to pursue based on profit margins and other factors. How could this be presented as evidence for meeting the EB1A criteria, and which criteria would it fulfill?
You see, ideally, I see, Patrick, that if you have been, and I think it's very clear that it was part of the job.
Mhm.
The closest that I can see is basically critical role. But depending of the nature of work that you have done, and if there is too intense, and there have been some projects which have been assessed outside the company also, because this one thing is missing, whether the projects have been verified or evaluated, whether they are outside the companies or some kind of appraisals that have happened. It could possibly be considered to be as a judging also, actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now to effectively present one's role in evaluating these projects as evidence for meeting the EB1A criteria, it could be judging participation as a judge of the work of others could be one thing. One should highlight the role in evaluating various projects, deciding which one to pursue based on profit margin and other things. Now, one would need the details of such projects. Now, what was the recognition of that judgment? One should gather letters or testimonials from senior executives that, let's say it's Patrick. So Patrick evaluated these projects. His judgment has been very good. It helps us to disburse money. Let's say you are part of a private equity team which gave money to, funding to other people, and how those evaluation got validated by virtue of the company's performance based on your assessment would be very impact. So these, all this documented impact and some third party talking about it, that would be a very beautiful way, I would say that actually. If it's an external evaluation primarily. But if it is, because even if you do an internal evaluation, while it may fulfill the requirement within the criteria, within the framework of criteria, but it may not end up meeting final merit determination per se.
Okay.
So if one wants to intensify, ideally one should go into more deeper that how it benefited the company, how it benefited the people whose projects were assessed, or how it benefited the project by itself also, actually. That's another aspect here.
Right.
But otherwise, I think describing one's role within the organization, emphasizing how this was related to your responsibilities in evaluating the projects and what was the outcome in terms of critical or leadership responsibilities, in terms of documented achievements, in terms of whether because of your work, if you got some awards or some media highlights, I think it would get closer to fulfilling as a performance of a leading or a critical role in distinguished organization, Patrick. I would just kind of say this. In terms of documentation for this, there should be job description and organization charts should be given. What were the achievements articulated should be given. What were the awards and recognitions that you got at the end of the day should be given. It is also possible that one could try for both also, depending again on the nature of activities or something. So I would just kind of leave it at that. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, it's always clear. There's always different ways to use the evidence. You just have to be very clear on all the documentation and information. Yeah, that's very clear. So for the next question, anonymous member asks, I'm an MMBS doctor who is preparing for the United States medical licensing examination. I have over 20 publications with 170 citations in 40 plus countries, completed 105 reviews in 6 journals, authored 10 plus conference abstracts, and received 2 international awards. Is this a strong candidate for EB1A?
Okay. This one is trying to give an impact that this is a medical doctor. Okay. Now, person has a public. There is some kind of an extraordinary ability that is being attempted to be demonstrated. Definitely, this won't be a business. So this is to be more to do with sciences. Now, as a doctor, what this person has done to make something unique is important. It's not that just having a publications or citations. So for example, if this doctor is, let's say, a plastic surgeon, Now he may have devised a new, because I don't know what the publications are all about or why the citations are for.
Right.
Now, if the doctor is, let's say, or nephrologist, a kidney specialist, or something, or a diabetic, kind of this thing, or a cancer specialist in oncology.
Right.
So there could be potentially a new techniques that have been devised, and that has helped thousands of people.
Right.
Now, what is that needs to get articulated? And the person appearing for USMLE examination is more akin to the fact that what he will do in the USA if given a chance. Having a license is good. I just have one thought process that attempt is very good, but by itself having 20 publications or 170 citations in 40 plus countries and everything may barely meet the criteria, possibly, but may not fulfill the requirement of totality, sustained acclaim. That what have you essentially done to not as an achievement, to create that kind of an impact factor in life. So that benefited a huge. You see, when you think of a doctor as an extraordinary ability, there is a certain image in mind. Do you meet that imagery which is there? That would be my take on this. Otherwise, this may, because we have seen typically a lot of cases, Patrick, and you are aware of it, even in the program, people have joined us which having even 8 criteria as approved, 3 criteria as approved, 5 criteria as approved, but do not get. This my worry is that if those things are not addressed properly in a petition, this could become a very, this may become a case akin to that, which I would not be very happy to see. But yes, one needs to go a little deeper to understand this, but that would be my answering a very specific question.
Right.
It looks to me there is a very promising case.
Yeah, definitely could be work to be done, but there's a lot of great information there. So yeah, definitely could be strong.
Wonderful.
So anonymous member asks, I have a bachelor's degree in international relations from my home country and master's degree in international law from the USA. I am planning to enroll in a PhD program and need to apply for an EB1A next year. I fall under the rest of the world category. Could you recommend which type of PhD program I should consider? I'm guessing they mean in regards to EB1A as well.
Absolutely. This is not please understand that EB1A is not a function of your degrees. It's because by virtue of your extraordinary ability. Now, if you have done a bachelor's degree in international relation and you're planning to apply for a PhD, I'm not very sure directly you can go for PhDs because I think one needs to have a master, but I think there might be some integrated programs that might be fulfilling. But having said this, if it is an international relation is your degree, what is the extraordinary ability, expertise that is shining up? I am not very sure. Being a PhD will not qualify automatically for EB1A, and there is nothing such as rest of the world category.
Yeah,
it's for the world. It's for the people who are not US non-citizens essentially.
Right.
So rest of the world means it is for everybody. The rest of the world. If you are American, you don't need green card or anything here like this. Having said this, I think one needs to go into more specific that what has been the nature of work that person has done so far. Sure. PhD, if PhD were a direct kind of qualification for that, then I think things would have been much more easier. But in future, if a person is wanting to do PhD, become a professor, and there is some kind of an extraordinary, some kind of a, one gets citations or other things, it may be a good case for EB1B possibly. Yeah. But I think for EB1A, we need a lot more data points to comment on here.
For sure. I can see that. So another anonymous member asks, my perm is in process. I am thinking of applying for EB2NIW as I am in my 5th year on H1B. I have recently learned that EB1A might be a possibility for myself. If perm is being processed, would it be better for me to try for EB1A instead of EB2NIW?
You see, those two are different objectives. Yeah. More NIW be more professional oriented. That there is this national interest waiver is for a waiver to not to go for perm. waiver is for what? I mean, waiver is not to just grant you a green card, but waiver is to waive the perm requirement because there is a national interest in not delaying the process.
Yeah.
So you can make up a good case for yourself to do that. Now, if you are going there, and I don't know what's your nationality, but assuming that if it is an Indian, yes, NIW won't help you much at this juncture. EB1A might be better because that gets you closer to your green card faster. But as we know that there are a lot of metrics that one needs to fulfill to become, kind of EB1. And there are a lot of data points, again, that we would need to make a very holistic and responsible answer for this particular purpose. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, completely. I think we get caught up in the EB2NIW talk a lot, like with people I talk to, and yeah, this is kind of my sentiment that I always feel. There's a lot more to consider for sure.
Absolutely.
So anonymous member asks, I recently heard that the authorship or scholarly articles criteria is weighted more heavily than others. Is it true that there is more value in this particular criteria?
Well, I have not seen that anyone saying this. That any criteria has a weight more than that.
Right.
Having said this, let me give you my kind of understanding on and whom I have studied over 1,000 cases and roughly 40-50 EB1 achievers, and there are a lot of them in our program also. There is one criteria called original contribution. We know that. In that original contribution, what I have seen is if it's not that you should apply for original contribution. Definitely, I feel that's one of the most toughest criteria. But everybody need not go for original contribution just because it's good, what I'm going to say now. But I have seen that if your original contribution gets validated, okay, let me put it the other way around, Patrick. I'm not seeing any case where your original contribution is selected, it is kind of makes sense and it has been approved, and your EB1A not getting cleared. Okay. I don't remember, since this question has popped up, I do want to make a comment. It's an observation that I have seen over a lot of cases. There might be RFE or some kind of circumstances that may, some documentary evidence might be sought, but yet to see a situation wherein original contribution is approved and you don't get your EB1A. So, do we conclude that it is weighted more? Maybe yes and no. But logically, if you see that person who has done some original contribution in one's field, because it's not just having a patent or having something just like that. Right. And this can manifest itself into two ways. Original contribution. It's like if you write a good article or scientific journal, like that person's authorship of scholarly article, it can be manifested into an original contribution. And second possibility is there is a critical role that you played for your company, and it has the impact. It's like a ripple. You throw some people in the water and it gets rippled. So based on that, the ripples are felt outside your company, and your critical role gets manifested into original contribution. We have spoken about this original contribution before, but I would not like to, and answering your question specifically, I would not like to say, but I think this whole thing is originating possibly from the premises that this has an opportunity to get manifested into an original contribution. So if you have done authorship, there are huge citations, and large number of people have appreciated it. It is being cited, so that makes sense. So I would just leave it at that. Gotcha. And let's take a last question for the day, Patrick.
Sure. Yeah, I'll go with this one. Anonymous member asks, if I am not in a managerial or senior role at my company, would there still be a possibility to prove that I am critical to the organization?
Absolutely. Critical role has nothing. It's a leading or critical role. And second is, in 2022, USCIS was, I think, generous to come out with a policy, notification which said that it could also be related to a division of a company. So it is not a leading or a critical role for the company, but also a leading or a critical role for a division of a company. Now let's take the common. So it is leading, critical, company, division. So in a company, in a division, one could play a critical role. And for that, you don't have to you could even be a team member.
Great.
So even I think that's a good. We do get a lot of people coming to us on this, and we have helped a couple of people. So that's all I have for the day, friends. And if you want to send your question to us, please send us here to Patrick or me. The link will be given below in the comment section. If you want to, kind of be participating in the show, please let us know. We'll be happy to take up your questions. And if you're looking forward to join the Next League program, click again the link below. We'll be happy to, have you and have you evaluated for joining the program. Reach out to me or Patrick, and I'll be happy to help. Wish you all the best, friends, and have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Thank you, Patrick.